Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. David Glassner, Superintendent of Shaker Heights City School District. I'm here this afternoon to provide an update regarding our plans for the upcoming 2020-2021 school year, which is really around the corner. It's coming up very fast. And I am looking forward to sharing more information about the upcoming school year today. As always, just some reminders and some new information. I have been providing these updates twice a week at 3 o'clock on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You are welcome to submit questions in advance on www.shaker.org. I'll be answering some of those questions today. And when we can't answer questions, we do try to get to them at a later date. You're also welcome to submit questions on the Zoom chat panel or in the Facebook Live chat panel. We monitor those questions even though we can't answer them in real time. I will say this again at the end of today's presentation, but as I mentioned last week, we're starting to wind down these updates because more information is and will be coming from school levels and from school buildings and grade levels. I will be doing a presentation today, but we will not have an update on Thursday. We're moving to once a week, so my next live update will be next Tuesday at 3 o'clock. We will also continue to provide written information from the district with updates about our plans for the upcoming school year. And again, I'll mention that again at the end of the presentation today. I'm going to share my slides today, share my screen so I can share slides with everybody that outline the different topics I'll be talking about today. All right, so the topics that I'm going to be talking about today, I'm going to just review some information about the start of the 2020-21 school year. And then I'm going to go over remote learning schedules, kind of an overview for all of the buildings or all of the grade levels. And then I'm going to go through what some sample schedules look like at each grade level or each building level for our students. And then at the end of the presentation today, I will review some of the questions that we've received over the past few days. So I know I've said this before, but I just want to remind everyone that the principles that we have used to guide our work and our planning and our decisions for the upcoming school year, first and foremost, student and staff health and safety. We know that is increasingly important given the spread of COVID-19 in our community, as well as the district strategic plan. The district strategic plan rests on two pillars: educational equity and the International Baccalaureate Framework. And these are really the main principles that have guided our decisions in terms of planning for the upcoming school year. I am sure most people are aware at this point, but just in case, this is a reminder. We announced this on Friday that we will be starting the school year remotely because of the Cuyahoga County Board of Health recommendation that all schools should start the year remotely. We have postponed the start of the school year by 2 weeks for students. So all students will begin remotely on Monday, August 31st. Again, all students will begin remotely on Monday, August 31st. We made that change to make sure that we have enough time to prepare for a fantastic learning experience for all of our students when we start the school year remotely. Also, the Cuyahoga County Board of Health recommended last week that all person athletic practices, events, extracurricular programs, and conditioning are suspended until further notice. We are adhering to that recommendation. Some of you may have heard that there has been additional guidance shared by other agencies in the state over the past few days, including the Ohio Department of Health and the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Maybe perhaps not too surprisingly, the guidance and recommendations we are getting are in conflict with each other at times. And so we are reviewing the various guidance that exists, closely monitoring the situation, working closely with other districts in our athletic conference, the Lake Erie League, to determine what next steps to take and what next steps we can take that will ensure student and staff health and safety while also trying to provide the kinds of experiences we know we want our students to have. So more information about that should be forthcoming. So generally when we were planning our schedules for the remote start, and actually before I get into these expectations, I do really want to thank all of the people who have been working at the building level to make these expectations and schedules clear and well defined in a very short amount of time. As many of you know, we have spent a large part of our summer planning for in-person learning, and only recently had to pivot to thinking about remote learning for an extended period of time. And our building level teams have really been working around the clock to make sure that we are well prepared and can provide clear information to all of our families in a very short amount of time. So thank you. So there are some expectations that I want to make sure are clear as we go into the upcoming school year. First of all, attendance will be taken during live synchronous sessions. So whenever there is a synchronous classroom session, which is pretty frequently in this upcoming school year schedule, student attendance will be taken, just like we normally do when students are in person in the classroom. I highlight this because this is a change from our practice in the spring. So now we will be taking regular student attendance in the remote setting. We will also be using work completion during asynchronous activities to calculate attendance. So again, this is a change from the spring. You'll see in the schedules that I'm going to be sharing shortly that there are some asynchronous learning opportunities for students. Those are really mandatory. They are not meant for students to take an hour off or to postpone something till later. They're mandatory learning experiences, and we will be using work completion during those activities to measure student attendance. We also are creating schedules that take into account the developmental stages of our students, and the fact that different amounts of screen time are appropriate for students at different developmental stages. And I think you'll see that in the schedule. As you can imagine, the amount of screen time that a student will have will increase by grade level. I also want to just make sure that it's clear that at no grade level will a student be sitting passively watching somebody talk or being in the equivalent of a Zoom meeting for the entire school day. Learning activities are active and engaging, and students will have opportunities to do small group work, independent group work, whole class instruction, like they would in a normal class setting. So we're excited about that. So now I'm going to go through the different schedules by grade level or building level. I'm going to start by just going over the schedule outline for students at the K4 level, and then I'll go up the grade levels from there. So for the K4 students, for students in grades kindergarten through 4th grade, the school day will be from 8:15 a.m. until 2 p.m. We will have age-appropriate screen time, as I mentioned. There will be flexibility throughout the day, which will allow for differentiation, targeted supports, interventions, enrichment, and instruction. And the learning will include large group lessons, as well as small group and independent learning when appropriate and necessary. For special subjects like art, music, physical education, there will be both synchronous and asynchronous learning opportunities. From 2 to 2:30 p.m. every day, that will be time dedicated to student support, possible activities and clubs, and specially designed instruction for students with disabilities. I'm going to share what a sample schedule looks like for a student. We will be sharing or posting these slides after this presentation because I know this is a lot of information and I'm not going to read each line today, and we want to make sure that parents and families have this information at their fingertips. So from 8:15 to 8:45 will be a class meeting and student check-in. This will be an opportunity to implement our Caring Schools community curriculum, take attendance, and do other learning activities that would be typical at the beginning of a school day for kindergartners through 4th grade. From 8:45 till 11 will be kind of your regular school subjects. There will be literacy learning, math, social studies, science. There will be movement breaks and snack breaks as needed. This learning will take place in large groups and small groups and independently at times. From 11 to 11:30 will be another class meeting and at this point student checkout. So we just had a pretty significant or substantial block of learning, and so it's an opportunity to see how that went. From 11:30 to 12 will be some what we call Raider time, opportunity for individual or small group support if needed, and also some independent student work time. Lunch and movement break, essentially the equivalent of recess, will take place from 12 to 1. From 1 to 1:45 will be special subjects like Spanish, world language, physical education, art, music. And then from 1:45 to 2, the end of the day will be some final time for student support, some intervention time as needed for students with disabilities, some final independent student work time before the day ends. And then from 2 to 2:30 will be some additional time for students with disabilities to receive additional support as needed or as appropriate, and all students may be able to participate in clubs or other IB action type activities. So as you can see, it's a pretty full day for our kindergartners through 4th grade students, and we are excited that students will be engaged in active learning throughout the day. The Woodbury schedule. The Woodbury schedule also has a lot to highlight. The school day will be from 8:45 to 3 o'clock. From 3 to 3:45, there will be some subject-specific support and enrichment, similar to conferences, and I'll go over that in more depth when I share the schedule grid in a minute. At Woodbury, some things that I want to make sure we highlight. This upcoming school year, 5th grade students will have 2 teacher teams. 6th grade students will have 4 teacher teams. So for 6th grade students, that will be nothing new. You're familiar with 4 teacher teams. You had those last year. Those are teacher teams where each teacher focuses on a specific core subject like social studies, math, science, or language and literature. 5th grade will have 2 teacher teams. Many of you may already be familiar with 2 teacher teams. This is more of an elementary school model where we really focus on each teacher providing general studies support to our students. At Woodbury, we are balancing synchronous and asynchronous instruction with smaller class size. We recognize that in a virtual or remote setting, it's important to keep class size down, particularly at the 5th and 6th grade level, where we know our students will need support and targeted instruction and enrichment. And we also know, because we are de-leveling our classes at Woodbury, because all students will now be meeting the curriculum and the standards of the enriched classes in math and language and literature, that the smaller class size is important. So you will see that the Woodbury schedule incorporates both synchronous and asynchronous instruction and maintains smaller class size for our students. I should add also that this maintains our ability when and if students are able to return in person. This maintains our ability to keep smaller class sizes for our students. Language acquisition at Woodbury. We are trying something new this year. This is something we've been planning for a while, whether in person or remote setting. 5th grade students will now have the opportunity to participate in what we call a language carousel 2 times a week. That means all of our 5th grade students will be exposed to all of the different world language options, so that when they have to select a world language at the end of 6th grade, they will have some familiarity with each of the world languages that they're going to be trying to choose between. Sixth grade students will continue with their selected language, and world language courses will take place twice a week. And just a reminder that we do expect, because we are an international baccalaureate district, we do expect that all of our students take a world language. They take the same world language from 6th through 10th grade. So that's why our 5th grade students at the end of 5th grade choose a world language that they will then focus on starting in 6th grade. For our special subjects at Woodbury, students will have music twice a week, and they will have art, PE, physical education, and design 3 times a week, and that will take place on a 4-week rotating schedule. So if I am a student, I will have art 3 times a week for a 4-week block, and then after those 4-week blocks, I will then go to physical education for 4 weeks and then design. 5th grade will also have a technology special in that same rotation. The Friday schedule at Woodbury includes synchronous support and enrichment. It will also include a special subject, and it will include additional time for special education students to meet their learning goals. Here is a sample schedule grid for a student at Woodbury. So you will see, just to go down the schedule on Monday, from 8:45 to 9:35, students will have math class, math synchronous instruction. 9:40 to 10:30 on Monday will be science asynchronous learning. Again, though, this is mandatory. We will be using student work completion as a measure of attendance. From 10:35 to 11:25, students will have language and literature synchronous instruction. 11:30 to 12:20, student will have individuals and societies asynchronous learning. So you'll see they go in and out from between, or weave between synchronous and asynchronous learning in the morning. And there will be lunch. The student will have music right after lunch, and then advisory from 2:10 to 3 o'clock. From 3 to 3:45, students will have the opportunity to receive subject-specific support and enrichment. And that will be, I guess, analogous or somewhat similar to what people may know as conferences. The Friday schedule, you'll see, is a little different. There is subject-specific student support. For example, from 8:45 to 9:35, the student will have math student support, then science, and then language and literature, individual societies, and so on. So you'll see that those subject blocks align with the schedule blocks for the rest of the week. Middle school, the middle school remote schedule will start at 9:15 and go until 3:30. There will be Raider time like we've had in the past from 3:30 to 4:15, Monday through Thursday. Class size will be similar to in-person learning at the middle school. Monday through Thursday will be a fully synchronous schedule. So that means students will be in synchronous learning from 9:15 to 3:30. And then on Friday, there will be both synchronous and asynchronous support, enrichment, and specially designed instruction by subject. Class periods will include, and I know I mentioned this before in our other grade levels, but they will include synchronous mini lessons, small group work, independent work, just really like we would have in a regular classroom. And just like we've done in the past, Raider time will include opportunities for teachers to meet with students individually and or in small groups. And as I mentioned, students on IEPs, students with disabilities, may have additional time on Fridays to receive additional support and to meet their learning goals. So here's a sample middle school student schedule grid. You can see Monday through Thursday from 9:15 to 10:05, I have my math class. 10:10 to 11:20, I have language and literature. 11:25 to 12:15, the student has individuals and societies. Lunch will be from 12:20 to 12:45. From 12:50 to 1:40 will be language acquisition, world language, or workshop instruction. 1:45 to 2:35 will be PE, design, or fine art instruction. And 2:40 to 3:30 will be science. And then Raider time from 3:30 to 4:15. You'll see on Friday, similar to Woodbury, you'll see that the student support and enrichment blocks align with the subject areas, the subject area schedules from the rest of the week. And there is, and every student will have access to these support and enrichment opportunities. All right, last but certainly not least, the high school. Before I delve into the summary of the high school schedule, I do want to just clarify that the high school schedule that we've designed for remote learning is very different than what we were planning for in-person or hybrid instruction. Because we're going to be in a remote period for an extended period of time, we made these changes with that in mind. And also, as always, and as is true with the other schedules, when and if we return to in-person learning, this schedule facilitates that ability. The high school day, student day, will be from 8 to 4 p.m. That does include conference periods. The Monday schedule will be 10 periods long, 40 periods, that includes lunch, 40-minute periods, which includes lunch and 2 independent work times. The Tuesday through Friday schedule is a little different than anything we've done in the past. From Tuesday through Friday, we will have block scheduling for courses. That means students will have 4 90-minute classes per day, and classes will meet twice a week, so in addition to Monday. So for example, I'll have a 40-minute math period on Monday, and then on Tuesday and Thursday, I will have math for 90 minutes. And on Wednesday and Friday, I will have language and literature for 90 minutes, in addition to that 40-minute Monday period. Every day, there will be at least one scheduled time for independent work time, time for a student to attend conferences, or a well check. And you'll see that in the sample schedule grid I'm going to show in a minute. I also want to highlight that the total amount of synchronous instruction time is similar or comparable to what the amount of instructional time would be if we were in regular in-person learning at the high school. So we do expect our students to be in their courses and learning every day, all day, really. Like with all of our other grade levels, class periods will include whole group mini lessons, small group and independent work time, and breakout sessions. You know, I want to be clear that those 90-minute block periods, I know that will be new for our students and for our teachers. Those will not be 90-minute lectures. Those will be opportunities for students to be active and engaged in learning throughout the day. Also, all of our classes will be annualized, like they always are. When we had been talking about the hybrid in-person model, we had been talking about a semesterized plan where students would have, let's say, math for a semester and then English for a semester. We are moving back to an annualized course schedule at the high school. This allows us to continue to offer all of our IB and AP courses in addition to our career and technical education courses and our College Credit Plus courses. So a sample high school schedule, and you can see it doesn't look too different from what a normal high school schedule looks like. On Monday, students have a class from 8 until 2:50 with some independent work time after that. On Tuesday through Friday, students have class from 8 till 3:20 with time for conferences from 3:20 to 4 o'clock. And you'll see that this student has a wellness check from 3:20 to 4 on Wednesday. As you can see by the schedule, we expect our high school students to be engaged and learning throughout the school day. We will be posting these slides on our website along with the presentation today, so that people who want to look at it more closely can. And of course, information will be coming from our buildings in the near future. One question that I know exists is when will students get their individual schedules, course assignments, and teacher assignments? We are working diligently to make sure that those are done as soon as possible. Right now, I can guarantee that we will get those to families prior to the school year, but I don't have an exact date yet. And we will get, as soon as we know exactly when we can get those to families, we will be sure to share that. All right, I'm going to go over a few questions. I know we're nearing 3:30 here, but I'll go over a few questions. I apologize if I go a little over today. How will the students who attend the IC Center, our innovative center for blended learning, be impacted? Will the IC be open, or will students work remotely? Like the rest of our buildings, our innovative center, students will not be reporting to our IC at the beginning of the year. Students will be expected to work remotely. Our new IC coordinator, Mr. Matt Simon, will be in touch with IC families with additional information over the next few weeks. And I should add before I move on to the next question that, as always, students at the IC will receive a great deal of individualized support as they proceed with their course requirements. Second question is about kindergarten. How will kindergartners be expected to interact? This is their first experience in school, and most of them are not used to technology. I appreciate the question. We certainly are aware of this concern and recognize that our kindergartners are going to need some unique supports and orientation opportunities and get to know you activities as we start the school year. This is very different from the spring when all of our kindergartners already knew their classmates and their teachers. Our K-4 buildings are working very hard on planning for opportunities for kindergartners to start the school year off right, and thinking about what kinds of activities we can have for teachers to get to know students and for students to get to know each other, that allows students to engage and participate and interact with each other in a healthy and safe way, while also getting the kind of orientation they need to be successful in kindergarten. We're also working to make sure that our kindergartners and our other young students have the kinds of technology tools at home that is age appropriate. You know, whether that's having a mouse at home or the right kinds of headphones or the right kind of devices, those are things we're looking at to make sure that our kindergartners and young students will be successful in this remote learning environment. Question number 3, other than the delayed August 31st start, will there be other changes to the academic calendar? So I'm going to answer this question with a number of different pieces of information. So generally speaking, right now, this is something we're still working on, but generally speaking, things like conference days, professional learning days that are already in the school year calendar after August 31st will likely stay the same. Those likely will not change. There are some events or different activities that were scheduled prior to August 31st that we are working on rescheduling, things like curriculum nights or orientation days or nights. Those are things that we're working on rescheduling as we speak. There's also a question around whether quarter dates and semester dates will remain the same. Currently, again, that's something we're working on. I don't expect that to change right now, and if it does, we will be sure to let you know. Right now we are planning for the school year to end the same time, the same day that it always was supposed to end. I don't have that date in front of me, I apologize, but we have enough of a buffer in terms of our requirements from the state instructional time requirements that we do not need to extend the school year at this time. I don't expect that to be the case, that we will need to extend the school year. Of course, if that ever does become necessary, we'll make sure to let everyone know. But currently, we are expecting to start for students on August 31st and end the school year the same day that we were anticipating in our normal schedule at the beginning of June. Question 4, will high school guidance counselors return to work sooner? Our school counselors at the high school are returning to work this Thursday, August 6th. I know that many of our students and families are eager to get in touch with their school counselors. I know that our school counselors have a lot to catch up on over the summer, and we appreciate your patience as they do so, but they will be returning to work this Thursday, August 6th. Question 5, will students have access to textbooks and other materials they need to be successful academically? Is there a plan to distribute these materials? The short answer to this question is definitely yes. We are working on distribution or pickup structures so that students get the textbooks and other materials they will need to be successful academically while we are in a remote learning setting. Question 6, will lunch be provided free to all students this year as it was in the spring? We will certainly continue to distribute meals to all students, and students who are eligible for free and a reduced meal eligibility will continue to be eligible. For families interested in applying for free and reduced meal eligibility, you can find that information on our website. We are still working with the state. I know in the spring, school meals were free to all students who came to pick up meals. We're still working with the state to determine whether that guidance will be the same this upcoming school year or not. More information about meal distribution will be forthcoming. Is there any thought for elementary, middle school teachers teaching from their classrooms for better internet connectivity and access to materials for our children? I will expand this question just to make this true, this question about all of our teachers, not just elementary and middle school teachers. This is something that we're considering. It's something we're still working on, the possibility of having our teachers teach from their classrooms. There are some good reasons to do this, and we want to, of course, make sure that we are maintaining the health and safety of our staff and faculty if we are able to move in this direction. So more information about that will be forthcoming, but thank you very much for the question. So upcoming, as I mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, we are winding down these updates a little bit. I know up until now I've been providing these updates twice a week. We're going to be starting to provide them once a week, and we will provide additional information from the district on a regular basis regarding updates for the upcoming school year. With that in mind, my next update will be next Tuesday, August 11th at 3 p.m. So I will not have a summer update this Thursday. Also, we will have a Board of Education meeting next Tuesday, August 11th at 6 p.m., where we'll be continuing to provide information to our Board of Education about plans for the upcoming school year. As always, I encourage everyone to tune in for that meeting if possible, next Tuesday, August 11th at 6 p.m. You can find all the information I shared today on our website at www.shaker.org. We will be posting this video along with a transcription and translation of the video in the near future, and we will post the slides separately because I know there's a lot of information in these slides that people may be interested in reviewing. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope everybody has a great afternoon, and see you soon.